Hi guys, good morning. Happy Tuesday. I hope you have had a good start to the week. I know lots of you are back at work, keeping busy. Hope you're all doing okay. Let me get your comments up here. Gorgeous chainmail today. Really excited to show you these. I'm going to be showing you the Japanese 2 on 12 or 12 on 2 technique to create these gorgeous diamonds. I've also made a circular pendant. I'm using our 6mm and 4mm jump rings, and they are a really nice, easy one to work with. Your 4mm are obviously the smallest that we do in them, so it's a little bit tricky, but I'm going to show you a few cheats today as well. It's a beautiful pattern. You can make necklaces, bracelets, earrings, all sorts of things, and I'm going to show you a few of those today. Good morning, Edward. Hi, Rachel, Lorraine, Marcia, Ruth, Brenda, Paula. Jan, from an exhausted Weston-super-Mare today. Normally we've got the weather report, so I hope you're doing okay. Sending love. Hi, good morning, Sheila, Lords. Do any of you live in Bedfordshire? I was just on the phone to my mum, who lives in Wing, well, she's more Buckinghamshire. My sister lives in Leighton Buzzard, and they've just had an earthquake. We were on the phone, and everything, all the houses, roads, everything, all shook. Just wondered what was going on. Good morning, Elaine, Angela, Anne. So if any of you are there, I hope you're all okay. Gave them all a bit of a fright. Good morning, Lorna. Hi, Lucy. Hi, Helen, Karen. Lovely. Got lots of you. I know you have been waiting for the chainmail. I put a little picture up last night. And had some lovely responses. Oh, Lucy says she's in Milton Keynes. Did you feel anything? My mum and dad are in Wing. And my sister's in Leighton Buzzard. I'm not sure if it would have reached you. Good morning, Sue. Hi, Karina from Sweden. Good morning. Hello over there. Hope you're all okay. Good morning, Joe. An unexpected day off as a poorly household. Oh, no. So at least I can join you for a little cheer me up. Oh, Joe, I hope they're all okay. You stay safe. Hope everyone's all right. But hopefully we will give you a little hour or so of respite. Beautiful and sunny in Cornwall, says Joanne. I've not yet been out. I'm just peering under my blind in the study. Bit dull and dreary. We had a nice walk last night. I managed to get out with the dog in amongst all the rain. Kind of went in between showers, so we didn't get too wet. So that was nice. Okay, so I'm going to show you what we are doing today. So, chainmail. So for those of you who haven't seen chainmail before, chainmail are taking, it's the patterns that you can create using just jump rings. So our jump rings all have little splits in them so that you can open them all up. Oh, Kitty is on here as well. Good morning, Kitty. Hi, Marilyn and Alison. We used to get earthquakes here in New Zealand. Oh, must be so frightening. I'm sure what they've had in Bedfordshire, isn't on the huge scale, but it's still frightening enough. Angela saying, me and my husband were in Crete many years ago and we had an earthquake. The only time the earth moved for me. Angela, you naughty thing. I won't even tell you what my dad said when he went out into the road. You've now met my dad, so you can, you know what his sense of humour is like. Marilyn says, good morning all, just got my kits. Well done. Okay, yes, so these are what we're creating. Now, I had seen these done with ombre before, or various different coloured jump rings, and I just thought the jump ring collections that we have would be absolutely perfect for it. So, with the gold, and I'm hoping you can see in this light, with the gold, I've gone from rose gold to champagne to bright gold, which just gives you, and I've put those so that the gold is on either side facing each other, just gives you that little bit of interest in there. With the silver, let me zoom in on this so that you can see it a little better. With your silver one, I have gone from the silver into the rhodium and into the gunmetal. So it gives you a really lovely effect. Now, you can also do, with this pattern, I have used the 12 on 2 to do little diamonds, which I thought hang really beautifully on the earrings. But this is the more sort of traditional take on it. I've got 2 little jump rings just up here so that you can thread it onto your necklace chain. But they look really beautiful. I just did this one in rose gold. So the whole concept is that you have 2 jump rings. So if I turn this on its side, I've got 2 of my 6mm 2 of my 6mm jump rings on each of the larger sections. And if you have a look at the 6mm that are in the middle, you actually have 12 4mm jump rings all the way around. So that is your 2 on 12. So for every 2 jump rings that you have, there are then 12 coming off of it. And the concept is that you will just continue to grow and grow and grow. Whether you do diamonds, you can do them as squares, you can do them as circles. But that is, yeah, Lords, it is hard to see the ombre effect on the gold. I was a bit disappointed when I made them, actually. So I'm going to have a little play around with the colours. I have done the rose gold. I think the rose and the champagne are so similar, it's quite hard to see. You can see it in real life a little better. So when you get your kits and you make it, you will see it much more easily. Through the centre, anything that was touching my champagne gold, I did in the champagne gold jump rings. But then thinking about it, I think I probably should have done the sideways links in the other colour. So these are all rose. I could have done rose, rose and rose, and then the in-between as champagne. And then the same with the bright gold as well. But you can see it on the silver a lot easily. I can't even speak today, guys. What's going on? A little easier. So you've got your bright silver into the rhodium and then your gunmetal on the edge. Or, of course, you can do them in all the same colour. But it looks really lovely. I just thought that the diamonds were better for earrings, just because they hang really nicely. Betty says, the diamonds look really nice, would be better in silver. Yeah, I'm going to make the silver one today for you. So that will be nice. I'm going to show you the website as well, because I know so many of you were asking about how to find it all. So on the website, you can have a little look. I'm just going to click through on here. Go to the top of the page. You've got categories, down to Facebook tutorials, and then you will have chainmail pendant from today. You might have joined us yesterday for the plaiting, and then these are all of our bundles. So 6 and 4mm jump rings in the bundle is all £9. You will get your 6mm and 4mm in your rose, your champagne and your gold. So you'll get all of those. That one is your golds. And then in your silvers, you will get your silver, the black plated, rhodium and silver plated. That's their proper official names. And then we've just added in necklace chains in various different colours, so that if you want to make your pendants, you've then got something to display those on as well. And they're all 3 for 2. So lucky us today. Some really nice... how do I get you back? Some really nice finishes, and hopefully everything so that you will be able to create these for yourself. Hi, good morning, Seema. Hi, Jitty. Hi, Jean. And she says, hello to all our beading friends. They look very interesting. Good morning, Alison. Hi, Pamela. Okay, so let's get going. I'm going to get started. What I'm going to do, first of all, let's move these out of the way. I'm going to keep this one here so that you can see exactly what we are making. I think I'm going to start with a round one for you. I'm going to do round first. I think we'll go a little bit longer today. My last few days have been reasonably short, so let's go a little bit longer. Let's make a silver one. Now, if you are new to chainmail, you will find that working in different colours actually makes it quite simple, because working on various different colours, you can actually get, you can find it easier to see. Oh, it's my computer making a noise. Sorry, I couldn't figure out what was going on in the corner of my room. It's scaring me. My other computer's firing up. Okay, so working in other colours is actually a lot easier, because you can see where you need to go. Some of the jump rings separate themselves naturally by colour, which makes it easier. But I'm going to show you first of all, because I want to show you the difference between working with the 4mm and the 6mm. When I do the diamonds, I work with my 4mm. So I don't open up my 6, it's the 4s that I'm connecting with. When I do the circle, it's the opposite. I work with the 6s, and all of the 4mm are closed. So I want to show you both, because many of you will find it easier to work with some of the larger jump rings, if you're used to these kind of techniques, you might find it okay. You might be all right, but let's try and cater for everyone. Good morning, Pauline. Hi, Margaret, Jean, Judith. Good morning, everyone. Okay, so your 4mm straight from the bag. Can you see that the two sides don't completely meet? And because we're not going to be working with the 4mm jump rings, I want to make sure that these have perfectly closed connections. So I'm taking my flat nose pliers and holding it vertically down the ring. I'm going to do the same with my round nose pliers, and you'll see I'm just giving them a tiny little nudge just to make sure that they are perfectly closed. And it is always worth doing, because when you look at the finished pieces, and actually after I put the picture up last night, I was really annoyed because I saw one of my jump rings weren't closed properly. And it's the only thing I could see. I couldn't unsee it. As with anything that you make by hand, you will always see the flaws in it. I'm sure anybody else looking at it, I'm sure some eagle eyes probably spotted it. But you want to make sure that they've all got that lovely, perfect finish. So 2, 4, 6. I need to do this for 12 of them, because through our centres, we are going to have on, remember the pattern is 12 on 2, and some of the chainmail patterns have really really funky names. These ones where you find that they are all sort of linked together in quite basic shapes. Camille says, I find it easier using 2 flat nose pliers. Yeah, that's a good idea as well. I just find my round nose pliers easier for me, or chain nosed, so when the flat tapers off to a point, they are also really good. I just find that I can get a bit of a better grip because I can get right in there once we start working with our 4mm. I just find it easier to get right in there. Any pliers that you are comfortable working with are the right ones. There is no right or wrong. You can also get some really lovely like bent nosed pliers. They'll get you in quite close. There's so many different takes, whatever you're comfortable working with. Or Sharon says, I tend to use chain nose. Yeah, exactly. Whatever works for you. Okay, so 2, 4, 6. That one isn't quite closed properly. Quality control while I'm counting. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Okay, that'll do for now. So with my 6 mils, I'm going to open up one. And to open it up, I always take my dominant hand towards me. Okay, so if you're left or right-handed, whatever your dominant hand, bring it towards you. That then means when they are sat on the mat, it's really easy for you to pick up because your dominant side is pointing upwards. So you can pick it up and start linking it into your pattern. Now I'm going to pick up 12 of my 4mm. So 2, 4. Oh, come on. They're not going to play a game today. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And then close that up. So to close them, you're going to grab hold and bring those 2 sides together. Now you will notice that with your jump rings, when you bring them together, if you bring them together, you're sort of almost pushing in ever so slightly, but also closing that gap. So you're bringing them in together. When you're holding it in your pliers, it will probably sit nice and straight, and then you let go and it pops back ever so slightly. So overextend that closure so that when you let go, it will pop into place. And that's going to give you the best finish. Now, the reason I don't like working with the 6mm over the 4 is because I've now got all of this centre, but I need to add in a second 6mm jump ring. And there is a lot in here to start playing with. Can you see? Because I need all of these on here to start clustering together in little groups. What you can find is that it's easier to go smaller and do the outside edges first. So you will then start breaking it down, taking a 6mm jump ring and coming through just 2. Let's close this one off. We'll take another one. In fact, I'm just going to take a second to open up a load of 6mm jump rings. So when you're working with chainmail, you should always have a pile of open jump rings and then a pile of closed. Unless it's a pattern, obviously, where you're going to need to work with all of them, they'll all be open. But these are my working pile. And then I have my pile that I don't need to worry about, and I've already fixed all of the closings to sit perfectly. So you will then take your 6mm and come through. Now, if you're working with your 6mm, actually, and I should have done this to begin with, you're going to add on some more of your closed 4mm here as well. I don't like doing it this way because there's just a bit too much to think about when you're doing it all. So you will continually add all these little clusters around the outside, and you will start to break up those 12 through the middle into little pairs. So working with your 6mm is a little bit easier because, of course, as you can see, you get that little bit more of a workable area. I'm going to start working with my 4mm, and we're going to make the diamond. So a lot of the 6mm, and this is also why I found them great to work with, a lot of the 6mm in our packs are perfectly closed already. Have a look at this. I'll go away Instagram. Can you see, straight from the bag, perfectly closed, gorgeous closed connection. So I found that rather than sitting and making sure that I had a load of 4mm that were already... Oh, Lucy's saying apparently people in Milton Keynes did feel the earthquake, but she didn't feel anything. Yeah, I'm going to have to get on to Facebook and have a little look and find out what's going on. A few years back, well, probably several years back actually, we had Buntsfield, didn't we? So when the petrol storage place in Hemel Hempstead exploded, Mum and Dad were saying it was very similar in terms of feeling with what happened with that. So I hope nothing's happened. Hope everyone's safe. I'm sure there'll be some damage because that's quite a distance. Leighton Buzzard through to Milton Keynes, that's huge. Okay, so I've got all of these ready and I'm going to start doing little ombre, so we'll have a look at those in a moment. To begin with, I'm going to start with my brightest silver, which we have here. I'm going to take a 4mm jump ring and I'm going to hold it right on the corner, just here, and I'm going to add on 4 of my 6mm. And this is where some people, if you did our beaded chainmail, this is where some people were coming a little bit unstuck, working with your 4mm, but it just comes with practice and it comes with time. It comes with holding them in the right positions. I found that the 4mm couldn't tell which ones were open or closed, says Diane. Is that just because it's a little bit tricky to see because they're a bit smaller? So 4mm, in we go, closing that, and I've got 4 of my 6mm on there. And I'm going to add on a second one. So I transfer onto my left hand just so I can pick up with my right. I'm going to hold these together, which will mean that that little cluster of jump rings are just slightly easier to get through. I'm going to open this a bit more. So if you struggle to get through, open up your jump ring more so that you can get that little bit more movement. Clustering all of these together, opening it up and coming all the way through. And then this is where sort of pointier pliers come in a little bit handy because you can hold on to that, reposition if needs be, bringing it together and closing it shut. And then I'm going to add on 1 more 4mm. So again, exactly the same pattern, except this time I'm going to take on 2 of my 6mm and 2 from my 6mm in the little chain section that I've already just created, closing that shut, holding them all together in a little cluster, taking your 4mm. And you see what I mean now about having them open and ready to go. They're accessible. I can pick them up easily whilst holding my pattern in my other hand. And then closing this, again, feeling that nice little rub as they rub together. Now this will now give me, oh, I'm glad it's done this because I wanted to be able to show you. two of my jump rings haven't quite sat right. So you can see on this side it's nice and floppy. On this side it is a little bit tighter. I'm just going to hold it with my flat nose pliers and nudge it right over my other jump rings. And this is why working with your smaller ones are a little bit more fiddly, only because you haven't got as much space to play with, but the results are absolutely stunning and well worth it. I'm just going to pull this other jump ring down, so it's just getting them all positioned in the right place. Don't know if you heard that crunch, but it's as they pop into place. So if we have a look now, we've got one of our little sections. Oh, Pamela says, I'm near, didn't feel a thing, hope no one got hurt. Yeah, absolutely. That's what I'm thinking. It sounds like it was quite big. Oh God, Chris, my daughter was in the arena, I'm guessing we're talking about Manchester, and she was hurt. Oh, she was unhurt, but it was dreadful. My goodness me. That's what I'm thinking. I'm hoping nothing huge has happened. So we've got our silver jump rings all ready for one side. Now I'm going to do the reverse side, so that will be my darker ones. So we're going to go for our 6mm. The majority of these are closed really well in our black as well. So let's have a little look. Move these out of the way. So that's one side. Going to do exactly the same thing with the black. So with these ones, they just need a slight readjustment. You can see that they are ever so slightly open. Let's nudge that down. Nudge this one down. So I will need 6 of my 6mm jump rings for this. You can find sometimes if the edges won't quite allow you to close them properly, just as I just did, use your flat nose pliers. That one's closed beautifully. Just use your flat nose pliers to give it a little squeeze, and you have probably heard it all pop into place. And then we'll do the same thing again. So 4mm, open that up, taking it quite wide, just on the tip. You can see how fine of my tip of plier I'm actually holding it with. And we'll go for 4 of our 6mm, straight on, in with your other pliers and squeezing that shut, like so. Opening it up, and you have your 2 links. Okay, so we're going to add a second one in here as well. You will see that in some of our other chainmails, I've also got that little chainmail booklet that I made. That's got lots of different patterns in it. There is a 2-on-2 link in there as a pattern, which is exactly what we're doing now, just with mixed sizes. So for every link in your chain, you have 2 jump rings. Which is why, like I was saying earlier, with a lot of your simpler patterns, if they are just linked together, it refers to the number of jump rings that you have in there. So this is a 2-on-2 link chain. So one more to add in. And then that is both sides of my diamond ready and prepped. So 2 from the link that we have just created, 2 from my new pile. And if you find your jump rings aren't going in, just readjust that. Just readjust that grip. See, I knew I wasn't holding it properly. Readjust the grip so that it's opening it all up for you. Let's go again. I was holding it just too far down in my pliers, which means when you then get hold of the other side, just don't quite have enough space. Squeezing them in together, these little black ones, and throw them away, says Griel. Exactly. Okay, so this is both sides of my diamond, and now we'll create the centerpiece. So the center is using the rhodium, I think they're called, as their official term on the website. Oh, Chris says, every time I try to shut a 4mm, everything flies off. So just like I did there, your grip isn't quite right, so you need to be holding it. Jean says that's what happens to me. See, it happens to me too, guys, and I've been doing chainmail for years. It's just one of those things. Sometimes if you're just not quite holding it properly, they fly away. If that happens all the time for you, change your pliers. Go for something that has, maybe like my flat, go for something that has a broader area so that you can hold on to them easier. That will help you no end. Okay, so with these ones, again, I'm just going to take my 4 mils. Oh no, it's my 6. It's my 6. I want to make sure this is shut, isn't it? Taking my 6 millimeters, making sure that I have them all perfectly closed. So again, just these little ones. Yeah, Chris, you're not the only one. It happens to all of us. That is, that's the way of the jump ring gods. Sometimes you get flyers. Anne says, I can't seem to get them closed. So is that your 4 millimeter ones? So what you want to be doing with your 4 mil is also pinching them in together. So remember I said about when your jump rings are open, you want to move them in together as well as closing it. And with your 4 mil, that's really important because you might also be over opening them. If you overextend them, sometimes it's really hard to get that circle back. So it's a fine line between opening them enough to be able to get all your jump rings on, but opening them too far that you then can't get that lovely finish to them as well. Betty's asking, do you have a link through to the shop? Yes, Betty, it's in the description of the video. Lovely Simon's just answering for you as well. In the little description, you can have a little look. Oh, Chris says, I got the seed bead chainmail kit and gave up. Oh no, go back and have a little look at the video. Now, I do use the 4 millimeter jump rings to link through on the beaded. Do I? No, I don't. I use the 6s because of the beads. Hopefully it wasn't too stressful for you. If you have any questions about it, send me a message on Facebook and I will see if I can help you out. Okay, so for our last ones here, now this is where your linking gets a little bit more technical. You just want to make sure that all of your jump rings are all connected in every angle. So what we'll do is start with our middle colour, which in this case is our rhodium. Give it a little split open. Again, readjusting. So once I've opened it, I readjust how I'm holding it, okay? So don't open it and then just stay there. Open it up first of all. Anne says, I couldn't do it, so I did it in 8 and 4s. Lovely. Oh, I bet that was nice. You could do it in 8s and 6s as well. We do have jump rings of all sizes on the website. This would work. Now, I didn't have any of my 8 millimeter jump rings yesterday, so I would be interested to test this pattern with my 8 and 6s. Some patterns just don't work well because they just don't hold into place with certain sizes. So I will test it for you and then see if we can upscale it as well, because the 4 mil is a little bit more hardcore. If you're used to working with jump rings and you're comfortable with your pliers, it's not a problem and your results will be amazing. I tell you what I still haven't done is finished my 4 mil Byzantine bracelet. Now, I have had this bracelet on the go, I don't know, months. And you'll all know when I was down at Kitty's, maybe in February or March, I was saying, oh, I'm gonna take the rest of the afternoon off when I get home and I'm gonna finish it, and I never did. So actually I might make a point of doing that this weekend. I've got a reasonably free weekend. So I might make a point of doing that this weekend. Working with your 4 mil is trickier because of course they are so small. But the results are well worth it because you just get the most stunning effects because they're teeny tiny. It's beautifully intricate. It's just like with your seed bead weaving. If you've got the patience and you've got the eyesight, you can do beautiful little ropes and chains in even size 15 seed beads. It's just the same thing, and you'll hear I ping jump rings all over the place. So don't you worry about that. Okay, so this is going to be the center. I'm now going to attach this onto my lighter color. So I've done my little 2-on-2 link. I'm going to take my 4mm and I'm going to attach it onto the side of the very top of my lighter color, like so. And you will see that they will then sit beautifully next to each other. Question, I like the earring in the corner, and can you show a closer look on how you did it? It's what we're doing now, Natalie. Where have you been? That's what we're making. It's what we're doing right now. Here you go. So I've done the ombre. So this is the ombre in the gold. So you go from rose to champagne to bright. And in the silver, we're going silver, rhodium and black. There we go. So this is my silver into my rhodium, and then we'll add on the black at the bottom. Oh, you're working. Sneaky, sneaky. Sneaking in a little beaded tutorial at the same time. I love it. I love your commitment to these video, guys. So many of you, I even had someone yesterday watching in the car on your way to your birthday shopping. I hope you had a lovely day out. And now that we do these new ones as well, you also get subtitles, so I know a lot of you do it at work. Okay, so there we go. Now you can see where these two jump rings are now touching. They're not connected yet, but they are touching. So this is where we need to bridge in across it. So we'll also take our 4mm, come through these and through to the top. So that's just where they were touching. I'm closing that off. So if I sit that flatly now, you can see we're linking in between. Opening up. And then get all your other jump rings out the way. You can see that I fold it up and over. So we're underneath, up and through, and closing that off. And you can see I normally just give them a little wiggle. Those of you who were saying about the 4mm not quite getting there, once I've got them closer, if it's like this, wiggle, 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 and push them together, and you will find just those little movements will bring it in, like so. So now we can see that that's going to bring it down beautifully. If I bring this one in, you'll see. So that's going to bring it in to here. Then what we also need to do is link these two together as well. And we're also going to link in the outer edges. So you want to make sure that you're keeping your little diamond shape. You can see where everything links in. So can you see now what we are missing are these links in between here? Okay, so everything that touches should be linked together. And what you can also keep an eye on is that this center loop, which will be the very middle of our diamond, is the one that should have 12 jump rings coming out of it. Remember, it's the 12 on 2. So that will have 12 coming out of it. If it doesn't, by the time you're done, you need to add some more in and you've missed some. So it does mean that you will have, if you imagine like your little clock face, you'll have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, all the way around that circle. Open up a few more of my 4mm. Oh, Angela says, I'm a carer for an older gentleman and make sure he's having a good breakfast, and then I have my cup of tea and watch. Oh, lovely. So many of you are doing such an amazing job. So many of you have been working all the way through lockdown as carers, and it's really lovely. We really appreciate all your hard work. So it's nice that you get a little bit of a break as well. I know it's not always easy. Okay, so bringing through, linking them together. And you will see that once your diamond starts to take shape, once they are sort of linked together, it does become a lot easier in terms of positioning. They kind of fall into place. Just knock those jump rings down so that they give you an exposed edge on that 4mm. Little wiggle jiggle, bringing them in together. And then just keep checking your little pattern. So then the next ones to link through together are going to be these two here. It's kind of, it kind of explains itself. It's self-explanatory. When you sit them next to each other, you can see exactly where they need to link in. And it's just a case of, can you see I kind of knock them down into place? And just remember that for every time you're linking them in, you need to be adding 2 jump rings. So we've got 2 more of our rhodium to add on to the base. So linking through the 2 from my pattern, 2 new ones, because every row in your diamond consists of 3. I'm just going to readjust my grip to the top. And in we go. Little wiggle to make sure they are closed properly. Lovely. It's just like with any other technique. It's going to take a little bit of time to get used to. It's going to take a little bit of adjusting in terms of your grip, your pliers. It's just like working with your seed beads. You might start with size 6s, down to 8s, down to 11s, down to 15s. Your chainmail is exactly the same. You might start with your 10 and your 8 mils, work down to your 8s and your 6s, down to 6 and 4s. I haven't made anything with my jump rings in smaller than a 4 mil. I think that is where I draw the line. No smaller than a 4 mil for me. So you can see I've just added on my last little one, and I just need to connect these 2 together. And then we can add on our final stage with our ombre. So again, just each time you're picking them up, make sure that you are holding it as near to the top as you can. Give yourself a fighting chance with it. Oh, one jump ring isn't in, so I'm just going to open it a little bit wider. I think the nice thing is as well with your chainmail is that if you go wrong at all, or something doesn't quite sit into place, you can just open your jump ring and go again. So there is always a way to correct it. These last ones are always a little bit harder just because they are on the point of the diamond. So you kind of have the rigidity of the rest of the pattern behind you. There we go. Final one. Again, just making sure. And you can see I'm holding it hardly, I mean, I couldn't even say a millimetre. Trying to make along with you, says Sue. I've just finished the first row after multiple pings. So just like I was just saying, just how I hold mine just on the very, very tip of my pliers, maybe you just need to adjust back ever so slightly. What pair of pliers are you using, Sue? Are you using like a flat and a round like I am, or have you got something else? Okay, so that is our brighter silver down into our next little stage. And now we've got the final row to add. And then we are done. We'll have our pair of earrings. So it's so much easier to prep these little rows first. I don't bother with the middle because there's so many different links to go in, but I do it with the outer edges. So we've already got this one ready to go. And again, I'm making this a pair, so I want to do it exactly how I did with this silver one. So you will note I used my lighter silver just to do the row. I used my dark gunmetal just to do the outside, and I've used my rhodium to do everything else. There are so many different ways that you could have a little play with this and add on different colours, various different mixtures of your jump rings to give you some really lovely effects, I think. Linking through on various different stages with different colours is going to give you a really lovely finish. Holding on the edges, linking through. And you'll see little patterns like this. I mean, your earrings are reasonably quick makes. which I think is why it's so nice to start with things like pendants and earrings, because they come together a lot quicker. If you're doing things like bracelets, you could be talking about hours and hours of work. By doing it, good grief, there is the most enormous fly. Sorry. By doing it over and over again, of course, you are going to perfect the finish. And as you keep on going, you're just going to get better and better. But with the earrings, it's a reasonably quick fix. So not too long, 40 minutes been going. But I also started showing you with the 6 mils. So you could make a pair of earrings in about an hour and a half. Oh, Pamela says, just woke up, we'll have to catch the beginning later. No worries, Pamela, it'll be on the page. Betty, I've just bought jump rings and a silver necklace. I hope I can do this now. You will be fine, Betty. Practice makes perfect. Just you persevere with it. And remember, we are always on hand. If you get stuck with anything, you just send us a message. It's one of these things whereby, I'm just going to open up a few more so I don't have to keep on. Go away, goodness me. It's one of these things where you will just get better with the more you practice. It might be worth just doing little tester pieces first of all, if you don't have the confidence to get going with it. Just practice linking on 2-on-2s, and then you can always finish that as a nice little bracelet, and then come back and do something where you then start linking all of those 2-on-2s together. Okay, so one more to add in here. Just opened up a few. Right up as far to the edge as I can. And again, when I'm opening them all up, I'm opening them, separating them out, making sure I've got all that workable area. Just give them a little nudge. I always tap them so that they kind of fall onto my 4 mil jump ring. Tap them into place. And we'll close that one off. And again, just sit it down. You can see where they touch. So the next ones to add in are across here. I just think the pattern's beautiful. When you see it come together like this, I absolutely love it. And it is a fun one to do. It looks intricate, but I think hopefully you will agree, having seen me now make it beginning to end, it's quite methodical, which I think is why I really like chainmail as well. It's very methodical, it's very practical. You know, you can sit down and see where these links are. Diane says, are the aluminium jump rings as good as steel? So it depends on the gauge of the aluminium. I worked with some coloured aluminium jump rings a good few years ago, and they were very soft. So when you're holding them with your pliers, they were denting. I'm not sure if that's to do with the colour coating, but depending on the gauge of the wire, it will give you a very different finish. Sometimes softer ones are easier to start with because obviously they're going to be easier to open and close. I found that these jump rings that we're using just give you a gorgeous result. Again, so seeing where we're linking through, adding these on. I think we've only got about 4 more jump rings to go and we're done. And then we'll just add on our ear wire. Hi, good morning, Robin. Nice to have you back again. Late to the live, hope all is well. We are good, thank you, lovely. We're making some lovely diamond chainmail earrings. Just on the literally the last 3 jump rings. But the video will be loaded onto our Facebook page when we've finished, so you can go and catch up at any time. So little wiggle jiggle, these last ones, just like I said, because you've got the rest of the rigidity of the form behind you, the last little row are a little bit harder to get in, and now we'll be fine. The rest is all good. And then our final one, so 2 more jump rings. Okay, one of you. 1. 2. Again, holding up that very tip. Give yourself all that space. And link on. Saba says, Sarah, is there a way to embellish the diamond earrings? Could you use beads? I want a blingy diamond effect. Yeah, what you could do is, even if you wanted to add on, you could use this as a base for your earring, and then you could add on bicones on top, or even some round crystals. You could either wire wrap them on, or you could bead weave them on. You could use tiger tail. Lots of different things that you could do. Sorry, I go quiet when I'm concentrating, don't I? I hold my breath as well. There we go. So I've just flipped that around so that ombre effect goes out for your pair of earrings. I think that looks really nice. They would be nice like that as well, but I think as a pair, they look really beautiful sat like that. So Sabi, yeah, you could add beads onto eye pins all along the outside edge. You could have drops coming off of these little corners. You could sit a bicone in the middle. You could bead all around them. Use that as like a little base. That would be really nice too. So adding them onto your ear wires. I have my silver ones here. So I went with, to really highlight on the gold that they were multiple colours, I actually went for the bright gold ear wire so that it just kind of reflected that up, because they are hard to tell that they are ombre, that they are a different colour. But with the silver, I think it's going to look nicer to have the bright silver up at the top. I think that just fades up really nicely. So you can either attach them on with a jump ring. Now, normally, I'm not one who likes to open the base of these earrings. I don't like doing it, but adding on extra jump rings on the top of this just didn't quite look right. So I'm going to risk it. These are actually a really lovely quality, but I don't like weakening the top of these. So ordinarily, I do advise against opening them, but these are a good quality, so we are okay. So I'm just going to open it exactly the same way as we did a jump ring. You might find if you have lesser quality ear wires than the ones that we supply on the website, you'll open it and they'll just snap. You can actually feel in the wire, when you open it, you know if you're weakening it. You can feel that core almost kind of breaking down. If that's the case, I wouldn't use them, because you know that you're going to wear them a few times and they're going to snap off. So again, taking as much of a vertical grip as you can, opening up, and then just make sure that you're threading them on in the right direction if you do want that kind of effect where the ombre is going up on either side of your earring. Just make sure you're threading them on the right way around. And there we go, lovely pair of earrings. I think that they will go with, oh, Sheila says, could you attach a tassel at the bottom in chain? Yeah, you could. That would be amazing. I absolutely love that with these tutorials, we teach you the basics. We teach you a pattern, and you guys just roll with it. You can do whatever you like. You're in charge. We're teaching you, hopefully, some of the basics. Hopefully some nice little patterns that you can then embellish yourselves. I think they're really lovely. They're going to be great to wear as well, because very often with chainmail, pieces don't hang too well. When they're formed, they look great in things like your bracelets and your necklaces. With earrings, sometimes it's really hard to get ones that hang beautifully. But with these, they will. I want the darker on the inside. Who was it on here that gave me the tip to lick my finger to get an earring in? I can't remember who it was. But you're a genius. It's worked every time. I struggle to get this one in. So thank you for sharing your top tips with me as well, because I'm learning from these. So you can see they look really lovely when they're in. Something that you've made, handmade, they hang beautifully. And I love the colours. And I think the ombre effect, when you wear them actually, comes out really nicely. These will go with any of your chainmail bracelets. Oh, Sheila, it was you. Sheila, I love you. I think about you every day, because when I put this in, I'm like, oh, that was such a good top tip. I do it. So thank you. Really nice earrings, very comfortable to wear. They're not too heavy either. Sabla says, thanks Sarah, how would you start filling the gaps with bicones? So you could either, thread is going to be a little bit tricky. You could either use tie-tail wire, so you could weave up through. So start at the back, you could secure at the back with a crimp bead, up through, add your bicone, back down through the same hole, and that will hold it in the right position. Actually, in which case you could use a thread, because what I was going to say with the thread is that I'm worried it will go through the gaps, but you'd be okay like that. So up through the same hole, back down, or you could weave up and down. It depends what kind of effect you want. Have a little play with them. Make these as a foundation and have a little play up on top. So thank you guys. Hope you enjoyed the chainmail tutorial. I really like these. They look good. It's such a nice one to make. I know for some of you the 4 mils can be troublesome. Just persevere with it. Keep in contact as well. If there are any questions that you have, then let us know. And obviously we will help out as much as we can. Sue, I hope you're getting on okay and they're not pinging across the place too much. Join me tomorrow. Tomorrow is loop turning. So I will be making a pin necklace with some really lovely beads. What are they called again? Meteor beads. Sounds fun, doesn't it? Sue says, I stick the end of the post or hook in a tin of Vaseline, and it means I can wear cheaper earrings all day long. Oh, so it acts as a sealant. That's a great idea. Right then, Sue, I'll try that one with some of my cheaper earrings. Turn my ears black. Not these ones though. These are beautiful and handmade. Guys, I hope you enjoyed. I will see you tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. Pin necklaces, grab your round nose pliers. We're going to perfect those loops tomorrow and make a very funky necklace with some beautiful colour beads. We've got a huge bead bundle for you tomorrow, which will be really lovely. Do you remember when Kitty gave you the tour down the glass aisle? Down the strung beads and all those glass beads at the bottom, and everyone's going, oh, can we please have bundles? Can we please have bundles? Well, we've done it for you, and they'll be on tomorrow. So 10 o'clock tomorrow. Oh, Jan says, very interesting. Don't know if my poor hands can cope with the 4 mils. Well, have a little go, Jan. I know about it the next day if I've been doing very intricate chainmail with my little fingies. I will have a go on this with an 8 and a 6 mil and see if I can upscale it for some of you as well. Take care, guys. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. Have a little look on the website, some really lovely deals. I hope you managed to get what you would like, and I will see you tomorrow morning. Camille says, thank you, Sarah. Off to the opticians now after all that close work. Actually, I think I might have left my glasses at my mum and dad's because I've been suffering. Really could have done with them today. Take care, everyone. I will see you tomorrow morning. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. Love to you all. Bye.